Oh, look at that. I'm going to throw my back out because I'm doing the show on my own tonight. That's right. Hello. Yes. Man. Usually I've got one of the other dinks. Yeah, let's call them dinks. Interjecting with something and me just kind of being amused at what's going on, but yeah, not tonight. Ah, dear. So, yeah, we are talking Drek tonight. I am talking Drek tonight. Yeah. Having fun conversations with myself. Yeah, so, hope everyone's doing well. I have had a long week, but I have, yeah, but I don't know. It's definitely been a week. See, over here, the school holidays finished, so start of the new year, new school year. That happened all last week, and so, oh, that was tiring. So, but at least now we know what we're in for with kids at school and stuff. So, yeah. Hopefully I can get just bang the fucking desk. I don't know. Hopefully I can get back into doing some videos and stuff. That would be the dream. Yeah. I know I had been working on 6 or so Numenera videos, but I was trying to juggle between like 6 of them, doing the scripts, and then it didn't work. Well, it worked until I burnt myself out on doing them, and then yeah, fuck that. I just save the audience from my chaos.
Chaos? What? You think I can detract from the chaos?
Well, at least it won't just be me.
So what's the... Hold on, let me get my ears in.
Yep.
Today I'm Superman.
Hey, Superman.
I mean, this is why Superman can't have a long beard, because nobody would know who he is.
Just a guy in a blue onesie flying around. What?
There we go.
Ah.
Okay. So, what's the chaos for today, kids?
Maybe doing videos again on my channel.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the topic or topics?
I think I'll be relatively easy and try to do the Monster Vault 2 and Player's Guide 2 from Tales of the Valiant, and like do one this week, to the other one next week, and then I don't know, ramble about something.
Understood. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do after that. But I mean, I've got whole weekdays to myself now, so
mine as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do something. I just don't know what. I mean, I have been mulling something else, but that's yeah.
Well, I've been thinking about on mine. I had somebody ask me about covering the White Dragon from D&D. because back when Dragon Delves came out, this was mid last year, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I did my take of the dragons that appeared in that box set or book, and I just covered 3 of them. And then I had somebody comment after watching one of them, "Hey, can you do a white dragon?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." And then somebody else, I think it may have been in the Discord, made mention, "Hey, what about covering like all the monsters in the monster manual?"
Mm.
And now I'm like, in the same, same style that I do. And I'm like, well, shit. That's pretty good. Why have I not done this yet? So I'm looking at it and there's like, I don't know, 200 and something monsters in that monster manual. And now I'm thinking, holy shit, if I just do one a week, that's enough material for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you start looking at the books, I mean, especially, how many different books are there in that for a Numenera?
Oh, so because there's almost zero crossover, for the stuff that's currently released, so
Yeah.
Numenera Discovery, Numenera Destiny, and then the 3 Ninth World Bestiaries, you have 5 books and something along the lines of easily 300 plus monsters.
Okay. So if you think about that, I mean, my God, the content, honestly, the content practically writes itself, right? It's just you being the medium to take it from, page to video. And, of course, with your influence added into it. But I mean, think about doing like an individual video on each creature that's in any of those given books. That's a lot. Think about doing an individual video about just the separate races that are in each book, the separate classes that are in each book. I mean, next thing you know, I mean, there's more content possibilities out there than really any one person can put together and put out there. And that's been my trouble over the years, is like, what, I don't know where to start, for one. For two, it's like I want to do all of it all at once. That's really the hardest part for me, is, I want to cover all of it all at once.
I mean, understandable.
And likewise, as a viewer, I want to watch all of it all at once. So it's like, where do I start? On top of all of the other commentary stuff that I want to push out there.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I'm just trying to do something. I am listening to you, though, at the same time. Hey, it's Duck, where you are, too.
Yeah. But not for very much longer.
Are you about to lose control? Yeah, you can't fool me with that one.
I tried. It's good to know that somebody else out there knows exactly where that's from.
Yeah.
Because time is fleeting.
Oh, madness takes its toll. Yeah, I literally know like every lyric of that song.
I know. Man, when I discovered it, this would have been mid to late 80s, I guess. I don't know, I became obsessed with it. We'd watch it, me and my friends, we just have a big group of us, and we'd watch it almost every single weekend. And then I found the comic book. It was a three issue comic. of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mhm.
And in the comic, what was really cool about it is they had sidebars that had the audience participation language, like what you were supposed to say at what parts in the movie. And so, you know, we I don't know, I found that all super fascinating. And then I got into getting the soundtrack to it on CD. This would have been early 90s at this point.
Mhm.
And from that point, I went on a mad tear trying to find every version of it. So I got the England cast, I got the California cast, the New York cast, and then of course, you know, the movie
Mm.
version of it, of the soundtrack. And there are some songs that pop up in the actual Broadway show that were never in the movie. And of course, vice versa. There's a couple of songs in the movie that were not in the Broadway show.
Mm.
But yeah, I got obsessed with it.
I mean, why not? It's great to get obsessed with. So
Yeah, and it's a fun movie. Me and a buddy of mine also, like, we co-wrote like an unofficial sequel to it, where they go
that
to.
exists.
Well, I mean, we had to. I mean, you know, we wanted to know what happened when they got back to Transylvania, and we had, in our minds, we had a character called the Old Queen that was ruling the whole, you know, planet of Transylvania. And in our minds, it was Elton John. We were convinced that we were going to get Elton John to be cast as that character. And, you know, he would have done it in a heartbeat. At least in our minds, we felt he would have.
No, there's definitely a non-0% chance he would have done it just to try and compete with Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Following in those footsteps type of thing. Yeah. Like, here's what Tim Curry did. Well, I'm just going to eat the scenery even more now.
Yeah.
So speaking of what we were talking about just a moment ago before
I rudely interrupted on a tangent of
a lovely example of things in Numenera to have fun with.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite creatures in that. That's the one that takes basically takes somebody and turns them into a puppet of sorts, right?
Yep. Yeah. Hollows them out and gets inside and
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I love that thing. Definitely one of my favorites.
I mean, that one would be an excellent one to do like around Halloween, you know, starting in October 1st, and then just move through all the horror-based monsters. And that would be the biggest challenge for me is, okay, so while I would want to run, I mean, if we're just talking specifically monsters, right? Doing videos just based on those. There's a big part of me that wants to start at A and work my way all the way to Z. But there's another part of me that wants to go like based on whatever holiday is coming up or whatever season is coming up, you know. So for example, we've got Valentine's Day coming up within 15 days. And so public announcement, everybody, don't forget to go get your box of chocolates and your roses to hand over to your significant other one so you can continue to if you catch my drift. But I would want to do one that covers, you know, like vampires or the succubus or something like that, you know, even though V's would be later in the book or S's would be, you know, earlier, but still later in the book.
Yeah.
So that'd be my dilemma. It's like, well, when do I do that? The flesh ghost.
Yep.
Sounds like something you'd find on Amazon. No, Adam and Eve.
That's a fleshlight.
Oh, right. I mean, hey, call it what you will. I mean, didn't you don't name yours? You don't give yours a special name?
I don't have one yet.
Yeah, I don't either. So.
Although apparently where I live now, there's like a dozen within like 10 minutes.
Wow.
People up around here are very horny, apparently.
Apparently.
No, I don't have that other one. Damn it. Yeah, the other one that I wanted to show off, but apparently I don't have any clippings of the monster or creature, whatever, is the Niblonians. And the first one was the Niblonian wife, and that's the one that tries to seduce you, and then it creates a vessel for an extra dimensional entity to live in our universe. And so you then just have this like
wife and kids.
No, because she leaves you before she has the baby. The baby's then born. It rapidly ages up into the proper body vessel of the creature, extra dimensional creature, and then it'll hunt you down to kill you.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
they're not screwing around over there at with those books, are they?
No, they are not. And like Niblonians have like half a dozen different variants.
Oh wow!
Because like there's Niblonian keepers. I think they're called keepers, and they're like these blue kind of fluff balls, and they look adorable and stuff. And they usually hang around Niblonian children. But if you agitate the child, the creatures open up, revealing a void and a bunch of teeth. It's just a teethy maw. And like these things are like tennis ball size normally.
Right.
And then they will just go to town on you.
Nice.
Yeah. Apparently, it doesn't matter if you've got armor on either, because they will eat anything, apparently. Kind of like the Langoliers from the Stephen King story. Yeah.
I need to go back and rewatch that movie too. That was a good one. I love the book.
Yeah. But yeah, there's also Niblonian Wanderer, and that one's kind of interesting because that one appears as like a traveling guide, like to try and guide you across an area.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got the wiki pulled up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So it says that they'll take the form of a seasoned human explorer claiming to be knowledgeable in the ways of philosophy, particular skill, or in finding a hard-to-reach location. This is the guide. That wisdom is more than a mere claim, and a guide can actually help a regular human explore higher truths. Once trust is achieved, a guide chooses a receptive victim to cocoon. Nice. The cocoon is like a TARDIS. It's larger on the inside compared to the exterior. The cocoon victim slides down the trans-dimensional chute through a hole in space that leads to the dimension of Reval.
Mm-hmm.
It moves through a trans-dimensional chute through a hole in space that leads to Transylvania.
Transsexual Transylvania.
Yeah, transsexual Transylvania.
But yeah, that's where all those Abacus extra dimensionals come from and stuff. And it's like Oh, wow.
Hey, so it says here that the loot, because they're working are technically artificial, Nabovian guides can be salvaged to provide 1 or 2 ciphers.
Yes.
So that's the first time that I've understood or heard this as ciphers being a physical object. What exactly is a cipher in this?
So in terms of Numenera, they appear as so basically anything that's one use is categorized as a cipher. So a spark of inspiration to that might give you a 2-step advantage on making a hit against a creature to the equivalent of like a spell scroll.
Okay.
All those things can be categorized as ciphers. It's just
Gotcha.
like subtle ciphers, manifest ciphers.
Okay, I got you. So it's just kind of more of a general term for a one use.
Yep.
Something. Okay. I mean, like, so would a potion of healing, would that be considered a cipher as well?
Yep.
Okay. Understood. Got it.
Yep.
I guess I'd never heard it referred to as that. Saxius, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How's it going for yourself?
We're peachy.
Just don't bruise.
Yes.
Don't what?
You bruise like a peach.
Well, peaches, I mean, they can be rotten on the inside.
Well, you're saying this, not me.
Yes.
I'm doing all right otherwise.
Oh, that's good. Oh dear. Yeah. Also, Sax,
Yes.
I know we're live, but I
Yeah.
just want to address something because when you messaged me the other day,
Yeah.
you did it at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So there was no
I
chance
was-
I was getting back to you for hours.
No, I knew that. I wrote that knowing that I wouldn't get an answer, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, just got to table this one because it's one of those things of like, okay, I'm probably going to have the same mentality in that period, and then everything sort of like followed up from there. Again, the healthy thing, and to quickly preface for what was going on, I was having a moment of, well, my Saturday group is going through getting new players. There were, the current players were then having a bunch of like discussions with me, and it was leading down this whole thing of like, why is everything falling apart now? Like when I suddenly have a serious conversation with them, we are all agreeing that we're going to do these things to like get the game back on track. All these problems coming out of the woodworks. I'm like, why? What? And it was apparently things that has been going on for like half a year. That only now that people decide like, oh, I think I should address this now. It's like, okay, it's good it's being addressed, but why have you held back for this long? Like, I just don't comprehend why you if someone has a problem, that you don't turn around and go, I think we should probably discuss this just so we don't have future problems, or so that, I might be not having fun in this game. So can we address this potential issue?
Mm.
And no, that was it's only just being done. So it took me having several walls of text between me and some other players, basically going back forward, and then finally we got a conclusion. Happy days. We're all happy. We know what we're doing. Great. But it just knocked so much wind out of my energy for my Saturday game that I was like, okay, it's right there at the cusp of where I'm like, should I just pull the plug? Because right now it just literally looks like me trying to save or put effort into the game more so is resulting in other players trying to like pull the plug.
Yeah, no,
like, okay.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I know you can. That's one of the point of it. I was like, okay, I know this is something you understand. So I was just like, but I don't want to just dump a huge wall of me moaning and whining without you at least going like, you know what, yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to just hear what the issue is. So
You can always, 99% of the time, you're always free to talk to me about such things that you need to.
Just a way I don't want to make people feel like they're the punching bag or the place where I go to just offload whatever problems I may have. Because that's unhealthy. That's a toxic relationship. And if I'm going to be toxic, I should at least be deadly.
I think there's a certain understanding with our core group that, meaning me, you, Seraphis, and Gur, that the perception of punching bag isn't there. We're friends. We chat with each other about almost anything, and I at least from my perspective, hey, reach out for anything.
And I still extend that to Tori as well. So
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I know she's doing her own exploration of what it's like game mastering, finding her own style, and finding her own pacing, which is it's an interesting journey to follow along. As she's sort of like going, here's what I do, here's how I do it.
Yeah.
It works for me. I'm like, I've never approached it that way, but it's interesting to see that she is landing in this camp and it's working for her, which is great.
What I've been ever amused about is that the stages, while the themes are not the same that I went through, I find that she's going through the same, essentially the same stages of, I'm now at this point, I'm now at this point, I'm now at this point. Mm-hmm. Going through finding your style as a GM. Again, mine was different, but like, it's amusing to see someone else going through that. What I essentially went through like 10 years ago, and 10, 11 years ago. Yeah. And she's going through it because I didn't GM back, in fucking 1999.
What, so 20 years ago?
Welcome to old life.
Rebooting, recalculating my age.
Yeah.
27 years ago.
2020 was 26 years ago.
Oh, we've hit a nerve for Seraphis. He's like, oh, what's happened?
No, I mean, listen, I still firmly believe that the year 2000 was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my man, like I'm still like 2017, 2018. It's like, oh, that was a few years ago. I'm like, oh no. No.
For me, like, I only finished high school like within the last 10 years, not 20 something years ago.
Right.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I know what it feels like. Oh. Yeah. No, again, like going back to that, it's interesting because, like you said, we went through we arrived at the different stages at different points, and we had different methods. Seeing someone going through it for me is interesting because often when I've gone and looked at people who discuss DMing, like they've already gone through the process of like how to do it, and they sort of try to go like, hey, try this out, see what works for you, but like there's not the concise push or like the concise showing of like I picked up this method, I used it to this degree, here was the outcome, here is how it benefited me, here's how it benefited the players. Like there isn't this like almost like overt transparency of like how someone adapted the styles. So again, it's great.
Yeah.
And I liked the way she goes. Her center around details is again different to what I would consider to be the details. But that's a different show of like the different styles, how she's got binders and things, and how she'll be making use of like notes and be doing updates, printing things out, putting it into folders. I'm like, okay, these are cool concepts. I do a lot of things online. Like I will use Google Docs, Google Folders, like to keep things going there.
And here I am. I'm like, wait, you guys write this stuff down or type this stuff out?
We all have TISM manifesting in different ways.
Yeah, I know. Well, see that. Okay, so for me, I think this would be beyond interesting. Would be to get us, the three of us, plus Gur, plus Tori, and just have I mean, this would be a long stream, but to have everybody kind of sit down and, without heavy details, kind of explain their origin story, if you will, to DMing, how they what their influence was to becoming a dungeon master or a game master.
Yeah.
That would be a really long stream.
I was going to say, like, we would have to do like one person per stream for the next like 4 or 5 weeks, and we would then have to like schedule Tori in.
I don't know. I mean, I can give you in a nutshell. I mean, like, for me, we didn't have like, all this online stuff to go reference. We didn't have, I mean, I started DMing in the mid 80s, and we just, I had the books. That's what I had to learn from, was the books. We had one guy that was the DM, and he basically said, okay, he ran us for 2 sessions and then said, if you guys want to play it, I'm done playing with you guys. I'm going to go back to my regular group. These are the books you need. And it was just the 3 core books at that point. Read it and figure it out. Oh, and that was that was my origin story. Was nobody else wanted to run it, but we all wanted to keep playing. So I got the 3 core books and I just started reading it. I would pop a question over to him every now and again, but for the most part, it was just reading the books, reading Dragon magazine when it came out, and asking the old guy behind the counter at the game shop.
Must be nice to have these things.
Oh, it was fun. I mean, it was so fun.
I come from the background that I bought the core. So when I started, I'll try and summarize this. I was around 9-10 years, played 2nd edition. Everything is in English. Let me start by that.
Yeah.
I'm Danish.
Right.
Meaning I can read it. This is early 2000s, so 2nd edition is phased out. And the youth group I'm in, the guy runs 2nd edition. He owns all the books. So I sit down, I play 2nd edition. I go to the bookstore, I buy 3rd edition, not knowing the 2 are different.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with a book going like, why does my book have colors and yours is all in black and white? This doesn't make sense. And he sits there and he goes, it's a little different, Oscar. Don't worry about it. We're just going to use these ones. I'm like, okay, I don't understand. I am just learning English. I am learning to say, hello, my name is Oscar. These are glasses. I am very happy to be here. Like from the perspective. And I want to highlight, D&D books are written in advanced English. You need a dictionary. And I can't read it.
Okay,
and I have a group of around. No, I'm not done. Like that's like 12 of us. Oh, God.
Yeah, I want to interrupt just for a brief moment, because this is a situation where I would want to give you like a good 5 hours, to just, I want to know everything about that journey. I mean, from the one pure fact that you were a non-English speaking person picking up these books. And I mean, I have so many, just on that one little scenario, I've got so many questions. Like, I mean, first one comes to mind. Did that have any influence for you? Now, this is where I'm going into like interview mode, right? Sure. Did that have any influence on you to want to learn English just specifically to play this game?
No.
Okay.
That wasn't a factor at all. but that the core reason for that is I had a game master that had translated the entire system, not in like writing, but like he understood it. So I would show up, and as you will hear many grognards say, I didn't know the rules. All I knew is that the D20 is for hitting and for doing things. I will say the number, and over the course of many months, I began piecing together when I am asked to roll my strength, I have to roll 18 or less because my character had 18/93 strength. So I was like, okay, this is the methodology. Like I would bit by bit, like pieced it together, like it would be coming in. And what I started to understand, because I have a very vivid imagination, so I liked the storytelling. The one time I was allowed to sit and just observe, I had to like glue myself to the chair because I wanted to jump up and down because they were fighting trolls in a swamp, and I was like, I could literally see the fighting in the swamp. I can see as they were describing, the other guy like wrestling with the troll, getting him pinned in, while the other one was sitting and going like, "Come on, get the torch up there, get it in there, like shove it into his face," and all of these other aspects. So I wasn't motivated to learn English because of the game. My family ended up moving to China, and I was forced to learn English at a very rapid pace in order to communicate. And then because I was learning English at this rapid pace, I was slowly transitioning into reading the books. And I eventually found people that also played the games, and then I had to really read it. And the problem came because I came with the understanding of the mechanics of 2nd edition, but we were using 3.5 rules. Like we were bit by bit, like having to like bridge the gap of like my understanding and what the books were saying. So we stumbled a lot. We didn't really know what we were doing. We were going like, you rolled a 20. You're meant to have criticals that can chop legs and arms off. Nowhere in the book does this say, Oscar, where did you find this? I'm like, this is how we played it in Denmark. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know. I can't find the rules in any of the books I've bought. So we would just be like, shit, well, what does it say in these books? And we'd look it up and like, it does more damage. And like, okay, I suppose I was just wrong. And then years later, like in my 20s, I rediscovered 2nd edition and the books because I saw them on like eBay. I was like, oh my God, I wasn't making this up. And I've invested like like £800, £1,000 into like bringing back all the books, reviewing them, relearning them, which was a lot easier at that point. But yeah, like my style started out being crunch heavy because that 3.5 was what I knew, and having more and more books, especially in 3.5, there were so many of them. I'd just buy them, I'd read them, I'd start to understand them. I enjoyed the mathematics of it, the probabilities, and everything that came in with it. And I didn't have external influences until, like, I would say in the mid 2010s, when I discovered Let's Plays on YouTube. And that's where I began seeing, again, what back then was considered to be real D&D. What I still to this day consider to be real D&D, where you sit as a group and you argue over whether or not a shovel will do D6 or D8 points of damage as you are fighting, and whether a regular shovel can be considered to be a graveman's shovel when you are trying to chop off the head of a vampire. And these arguments, I'm like, these are the arguments that a real D&D group will have. This is a true representation of what it was. And I stumbled across a DM. I mean, my original DM was a huge inspiration because he brought the games to life in my mind, and I have ever since I DM'd, I wanted to like meet his standards. The second DM I had ran like a 3-year campaign for me and a group. He was also up there. He gave me a really high standard for how to run games. So I've come into the DMing sphere with super high standards. Like, I should not be giving the players that I run anything less than what I had received, which is why like I've got this like insane amount of work that I put into it, because that's what players deserve. And discovered online Let's Play. The guy's still active on YouTube. goes by, I believe it's not doxing. I think his name is actually been updated. I'm just gonna check. His channel is Neil Pass Erickson, and he is a professional DM at this stage. He makes a living playing D&D, and he hosted another YouTube streamer known as ItMeJP, and he would run like 3 or 4 years of like really detailed campaigns using second edition with his own variations, and it was super good storytelling. And he would, again, it would be the standard one. A bunch of drama happened over the time, but that's internet stuff, not important here. And he's now on doing his own shows, and he's done some fantastic shows. Really, like I'm still interested in what he does. He has moved over to the 5th edition, and then he pops back to 2nd edition, so back and forth. But that's because he knows what his audience wants, and I can only support him. Fantastic guy, and he has made an entire website where he has made his entire world available for people to use. All of his house rules are available. He has done like humongous amounts, and he has taken every single spell ever made in 2nd edition and published them on his website for people to search. Broken down by sphere and by school. And it is just like that's again one of the cases of I have come across DMs who have put back into the community and into the hobby so much more that I've just gone, I mean,
Yeah.
I've got like 3 golden standards. Why would I do anything less?
Right.
To give a quote that, I mean, it resonates quite strongly with me. My dad made a comment that if he could be 10% of the father that my grandfather has been to him, he would think that he has succeeded as a father.
Yeah.
I very much take the same approach of like, if these 3 DMs, if I can just be 10% of what they've done to my experience, and I can then pass that on to future players, that's great. And that's also
Excellent
why I've got
philosophy.
Yeah, it's just like just take what's been positive and what's helped you, pass that on to the next generation. It's why when I was in university, I would host seminars and courses for people to become dungeon masters. I still do it to this day. Whenever someone goes, "Hey, how do I become a DM?" I'm like, I've got all the resources right here. Have you got like an hour and a half, 2 hours? We'll sit down. We're going to discuss the philosophical side of things, the realistic side of things. Like as a DM, you are not just going to be running the game. You're going to be managing a group, which means you're going to have managerial skills like interpersonal conflict. You're going to need to know how to resolve that. You're going to need to know how to pick up when someone is being disruptive towards the game. You're going to need to know when there is conflict that is rising up. How to do reward systems, how to basically shut things down before it becomes a problem. These are things that you need to learn that, and that's something that you don't see a lot of YouTubers discussing, which is, they assume that the people coming in are all going to work together. They aren't. You're going to have clashing personalities. You're going to have people who are going to come in and do things where you're going to have the rest of the group turn around and go, we don't. We as a group, we work along well. This one guy we don't want to play with. So what do you do when that one guy is actually your friend?
Yeah. It's a tough situation for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we killed him, but no, wait, sorry.
Listen, that's a different scenario. But you mess up between the note of killing the players and killing the characters. Small clerical errors happens.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, he went backpacking, and then, the next thing you hear, and
Australia's a dangerous place. He didn't pack the anti-poison. Anti-venom. There we go.
No, he hitchhiked.
All right. Oh, hitchhike, yeah, that was.
Yeah, lovely fellow, Ivan Milat. You'd love him.
But what I found, again, as I got into being the DM is I found that feeling unprepared wasn't something I enjoyed, which meant that I overcompensated and I overprepared. and I found that it was easier to make 100% and only have 30 to 40% of what I prepared be used, because I could reuse the rest, and then it would generate into, I would build a mountain and the players would only deal with 10%. I'm like, that's fine. This is within the parameters of what seems to work because I've got that. And I would then come across players who would then go, oh, that's some nice rails you have here, Oscar. They're nice and straight, going from point A to point B. It would be a shame if someone decided that the tracks were to lead off into another direction, wouldn't it? Well, I'd try to prepare for that. They would learn, they would realize that, and then they would find other ways of derailing. But did you know, Oscar, this train can fly? Did you know there was a tunnel going underneath the plot that you had prepared? Which honed my improv skills. And although it made me very upset that the players would intentionally do this, it did make me a better game master.
See, my players, they're a little bit like yours, Oscar, but I don't like saying Oscar. Sorry, I'm going to say Sax.
Yeah, that's fine.
So they're a little bit like yours, except they didn't do it maliciously. They do it because they picked up on the wrong cues.
No, like absolutely.
I'll point out the sign, the giant neon sign, the this way sign to the plot. Oh my God, this way sign to the plot. You couldn't miss it. And they'll hear you, miss it? Oh, that lady over there? We'll go investigate her then.
I've had, again, I'm going to go a bit more recent within the last year. I did a Call of Cthulhu one-shot, and I repeated the same destination 3 times in a session, and I actually had one of the players go, he's mentioned this 3 times. It must be a red herring. And I actually
Instead of an actual important element, it's a red herring.
Again, it was a one-shot. All the players knew it was a one-shot. I literally went, okay, pause the game. I have said this name 3 times. You're in a one-shot. I have limited time for you to go anywhere. Take a fucking hint. The name's been repeated 3 times. The math adds up. I am not giving you red herrings. Move on. Back to game. The player sat there and went, oh, okay, right. Sorry. And he was like, well, I still think we need to look for clues in. That's fine. Play your character. He went, right. So I get out my knife and I went, what? And we're in the person's bed. So we're now going to cut open this. And we're like, okay, you do that. And they were like ripping floorboards open because they were convinced that there was more clues inside the person's bedroom. They literally made it look like it was a drug robbery. That was happening. And it was just like, right, you have tore this place up. Half the floors are missing. The pillars are open. You have found this book. Like, I had to make something up because they wouldn't leave the place. So I was like, here's a book about these artistic things and so on. Art. What could it mean? I was like, the 3 things I've been mentioning was a art gallery. Oh, yeah, of course. Maybe we should go to the art gallery. Oh, it's great.
See, because you kept mentioning 3, like, I've mentioned this 3 times. Three. My players would have gone, there must be a 3rd thing in the room still. We're going to keep ripping the room apart.
Tear down the walls. Oh, God, it was something else. It also got a bit intense because they had to then go to a university to interview someone, and that the students were like, "We're getting security now," and the players were like, "Oh, I better, I've got to go and got to find some liquor." And I just wandered off. Thankfully, that module, 1920s, it literally explains why the players might not be picked up by the police, because it's in Boston. During that time, there was a huge wave of police officers being sacked because they protested, and lower quality police officers were hired instead. So they weren't very good at their job. So the players were like getting away with almost murder, like literally going on to university and harassing students.
Oh, this is taking place in America this year?
1920. Oh, right, yes. I mean, I don't think that group would take particularly well if I did that. I think there would be comments. Either way, that's what my point is. Like,
Sorry, yeah.
that's fine.
Who are you apologizing to?
I don't know. I don't know. I accept it. He needs to apologize to someone. I accept it. I'll store it, put it away, bring it back up later when I need him to feel guilty. But it basically led me down the entire path of like, I over-prepare, I have all of this sort of done, but then it also means that by over-preparing, I then start developing a wider world events. Like, the world moves on regardless of what the players are doing. Like, there are still things that are happening. And then that in turn means that when the players go out and they do something, it's like, oh, we have done this small local thing. It's like, that's nice. You've been in the dungeon for, or you've been being in the wilderness for like the last 3 weeks. You come back, you want to cash in all the loot, you find the town under siege. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, it's under siege. And like, but where are we gonna earn this? Like, we can't get the XP until we get into safety. Can we just go into the camp? You will be safe. That's correct. No, okay, but they will take your gold. No.
Yeah, a lot of players they don't understand, and I think a good DM does this anyway. But a lot of players don't seem to grasp that a good living dynamic world means that shit's happening whether they're there or not.
Yeah.
You know, that volcano is still going to explode.
Yeah. And in this case, like, I give the players the opportunity. Would you like to move up the ladder to the point of where you actually make a difference? Or do you want to stay at like this level where like, now we like being in the dirt, like beetles, we scrounge our way through. We shall eat what the dregs provide, and we shall go deeper underground, because down there the gnomes do not know us, and they shall learn to fear us. For we are the despicable dregs of society. I don't know why there are these educated mongrels, but apparently the players are. Maybe that's just my perspective of the Sunday group that torments me on a weekly basis. Which, by the way, Seraphis, I think you will be highly amused by this. My 5e game has come to a satisfying conclusion in the sense that they have kidnapped a lady of the Fae Court, drained her powers, and they are now planning to go and ascend in, and we're meant to be playing Godbound by them stealing its powers and ascending up. But before we do that, I'm going to take them to Ravenloft.
Oh.
And at level 15, I'm just going to see what they do.
What, any specific scenario?
I'm just going to take them through Curse of Strahd, which is at absolute highest level. You're meant to be level 12. And I just want to see what they do. Given that the first time they met Strahd, they pointed at him and shouted, "You're a fucking simp." So I'm just going to see how they're going to bully him. There's already been messages going like, Strahd is technically undead, which means he's classified as being dead. Wouldn't that mean that he's a tax exception that we can abuse?
Right.
But I was just sitting there like, I will leave you to deal with that. Like, it's just, they have ideas that are terrible. I just want to see how far they take it.
Oh, Jesus.
No, he's not coming to save us, Seraphis. One of my players actually do this every time I go, "Oh God, give me strength." One of the players leans into his mic and goes, "No."
Oh, that's good.
I mean, that's my Sunday group. It's just like, it's a race for who can commit the most war crimes the quickest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you're running a bunch of Canadians.
I do have a Canadian player. And I've got a Polish
comment.
player.
Based on my comment from earlier, I will have no comment.
Listen, between the Canadian, the Polish, and the British, they know what they're doing. And then there is the American, who sits there and goes, I am utterly indifferent towards what we are doing. You're causing horrible suffering. I don't care, Oscar. They had it coming. How did they have it coming? They were in our way, Oscar. It's very simple, Oscar. You see, we need gold. They have gold, we do not. You see the problem here. Oh my God, you're bringing imperialism to my D&D fantasy. No, Oscar, I'm bringing colonization to your D&D world. I was like, what? What? It's like, Oscar, do these savages actually have taxation? No, they don't. Why do you bring this up? It
They
looks
do
like
now.
it looks like the department of the IRS is setting up. Because remember, Oscar, the IRS can even reach out to you as an American in foreign countries. You're bringing the IRS interdimensionally. Yes, Oscar. Yes. Representation without taxation? No, there is just taxation in the dark future of the far distant future of the grim dark only war. Listen, I contribute to this stream the best that I can with what little I can.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I mean, you can also turn around, Surface, and go, it's not good enough. You absolute disappointment.
No. I mean, I would bring up points like, I mean, the Canadians did invent the Geneva checklist, and the Poms did invent, canonizing people.
Yeah. Would you like some food over there? Yes, please. Here, go. Why is there a grenade? Boom.
Oh, my God. And then the polls, just...
Listen, we need to achieve something. How? It's not important. Do not worry about limitations. Anyway, I don't know what I've done now, but yeah. In an odd way, my origins was I didn't understand the game. And once I did, I began to play it. I then began to over-prepare. I found that worked very well for me. I met Chaos Gremlins. These Chaos Gremlins have now latched onto my life like leeches on a weekly basis, draining me of my will to live, which rejuvenates naturally because I come back. And then after about a year of them playing with me, we then go, let's go for another game. They are weak. They are defenseless. I try to beat the ever-living shit out of them, yet they live. They survive like cockroaches. They become stronger. They multiply. And then eventually they become a problem for the world. And we end the game with me going, you just destroyed another one. Right, next game. I am considering whether I should try to put them into Shadow Dark just to see what they're going to do in such a dire and, brutal world. I don't think it's going to work because I'm going to present them with here's the cave to the monsters. And they're going to be like, right, find all the firewood and build the biggest fire possible. And then close it in so that all the oxygen gets sucked out. And I was like, what are you doing? We're finding out where their real exits are, Oscar. And once they come up popping, coughing, unable to breathe, we're going to be standing there with spears and clubs. And like seals, it will be easy picking.
Unless the real exit is like a mile away.
Listen, that's why you make it very combustible or very high, what's it called, smoke, so that you can see where it comes out. And again, if you have to run for a mile on the ground as a goblin to get away from it, remembering that the oxygen is being sucked away from you. You might not be running as quickly. And at a high point, you just need to see the smoke coming above the tree lines, and then it's just go for it. By the point you get there, they're probably getting up there, just about getting their oxygen back. And then it's like, hello there. Let me reintroduce you to the series called Goblin Slayer and why it is such a good series.
The big DM twist here is that there really is no secondary exit. They've all just suffocated.
I have had that be done to one of my campaigns where the players did that, and yeah. the players basically went like, okay, so we've deprived the place of oxygen. We've probably got to wait a day or two since we couldn't see any exit smoke for oxygen to like come back down there. And at that stage, if they haven't died from asphyxiation, they're going to be super weak. So we'll be okay. So they waited a few days, went down there. Most of them were dead. And they were like, cool. Well, where's the loot? That's why you bring a torch with you, so that you can see the what's called the decrease in oxygen. You go, oh, the flames won't work anymore. We better go back now. But then, not everyone thinks about that. Well, let me correct it. My current players think about that. I do occasionally miss the times where I had innocent people who didn't know what my style was like, going down and just dying because I would do this to them. Should I just keep going, like how I've done these terrible things to my players and they've had to adapt? Because I've got more stories. I'm going to assume the chuckles are yes. My real-life D&D group, their first introduction was Curse of Strahd, and I explained to them my style because I didn't want to scare them too much. And I explained I'm going to ease them in, and bit by bit the kitten gloves would come off, and that started really hitting them. And it got to the point where they were so paranoid that whenever they came up against anyone, it's like, oh, they are equal to, if not stronger than us. Throw everything and the kitchen sink at them. That was their general approach. It tends to work when you just do a nuclear option against anything that you meet. Makes sense. They were then taken into Red Hand of Doom. And they came up against 30 hobgoblins, and they went, oh god, no, sonic blast, boom, a bunch of them died, just splattering in there. They went, why are they dying so easy, Oscar? I'm like, you do realize you're fighting level 1 monsters? And they went, no. Why would you do this, Oscar? And I was like, because you're facing off against the greater enemy where they are going to be lower levels, but higher numbers. And they went, oh, that makes sense. And then they met an NPC who actually wanted to help them. Well, it was a ranger who had the hatred for goblins. And he demonstrated that he really hated goblins. And they met him while he was at home. And he was like, right, I'm not going to talk to you about work in front of my wife. Because I don't bring my work home. Because my wife is a wonderful person. Look at how happy she is. She's made you cookies. For crying out loud. How dare you talk about, my work? Come outside. I was like, all right, I'm happy to take on this contract. I'm happy to go skinning goblins and stringing them upside down, collecting their scalps as evidence. Oh, we never said you did. Oh, I will still do it. It's like, oh, okay. Okay. And the players were like, there's no way that this psychotic man is married to an actually happy woman and that he cares about her like that. That's got to be a hack. That's got to be some evil warlock or something.
My thought is there's no way this guy's level 1.
Oh no, he wasn't. He was like level 7.
Okay.
He was a level 7 ranger being like, oh, I patrol these woods. I make sure that there are no goblin threats. And now that the goblins have come down to play, I will play my games, of course. And the last time the players saw him before he re-emerged later was just him putting on his backpack and a lot of bear traps being put on. He'd be like, this is how I put my alarm system up. It's like, what do you mean alarm system? Oh, the goblins will step in the bear traps and scream. And I will know from the distance how far away that my next target is. I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. I've just found the best solution for our problem.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
What's wrong, Seraphis?
I'm debating whether to
contribute, build upon,
keep it going, or divert away into something a little bit more pleasant for a little bit before going back.
Probably should divert because I'm running out of ideas of things to say that I probably haven't repeated 100 times here.
Well, has anyone been up to anything during the week? Or the week gone, whatever.
Not
I
really. I mean, I've been working on video stuff, making videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on my Rogue Trader script. There's a bit of because I've been trying to use AI to like get an outline of like how I should go about it, and I realized it's really not my voice. So I've just sat down and I've written like I would speak. I am 3 pages in, and I finished the prologue and introduction, and just started on chapter 1 on character creation. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna keep going at this stage, and it's gonna be a long form, as I've told you, services. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but my plan is to like really go into details. But I'm not gonna focus on like, here's how it is for new people. It's like, no, you know what Warhammer is, you know what a rogue trader is. We're now gonna go into like what kind of players can play this game, because it's not for beginners. Like out the bat, like this is not for an inexperienced DM. Do not pick this up. You need some years underneath your belt. For the players, this is not D&D. You are coming in with your A game, and you need to understand that there's a hierarchy, and you need to have communication up and down that command chain. So that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I've had to spend some time basically going, you can roll for your stats. It's actually really pointless, because that's a historical thing that's been brought over from previous games and will actually have a negative impact for your game, because it's
Well, as opposed to what though? I mean,
point by.
Right. Okay, follow you.
Because you're meant to be you're meant to be competent people leading a dynasty, and in order for you to have competent characters, rolling and have the risk of like rolling 2 1s is really bad, because that will impact how you play your character can be. Like, you will have such a swing. Having a set point buy that you can go through, it means that you're going to be good at what you do. You're going to have your ability of what you can focus on, and given how the general systems are laid out, there will be ways for you to overlap with other characters and create like this synergetic or like almost triangular force, where you and 2 others can really like power through various things. And that's really what the setup for that is. So I'm probably going to go back and expand upon it, but the next step is to explain that you've got the leader. The leader has got his advisor. He's got his right and left hand people, and those people have then got their support staffs underneath, and then that also builds up in your typical either corporate or military fashion. Even if you decide to go pirates, you can't have a circle. There's a clear leader at all time, or there's a board of directors you have to adhere to. So that's what I've been working on, and I've had my 2 new players for my Saturday group. That's I've had a set for like 3-hour character creation, which has been good. We're having another explorator that's going to be joining in. Happy days. And the players willing to go and poke and prod various alien technology. Love that. I want that. I want them to go and pick up things that they shouldn't, and that's how we get stories. And the other person is saying he wants to play the missionary, which is good. We finally have someone that has got charisma in the group rather than intelligence. Because it's been so much fun basically having the player sit there and go, all right, I make a logic argument. And
so
I get 7 degrees.
Let me ask you this. So kind of going back a little bit to the rolling dice versus point buy system.
Yeah.
And I realize you can kind of have similar results with the point buy system, but one of the reasons that we always liked, or that I personally always liked the rolling dice, and it's usually it was like what was it? Roll 46, re-roll ones, take the highest 3. Sometimes we would do a 5d6 and take the highest 3, but don't re-roll ones.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it is, so it seems to me like 5th edition modern day stuff, the way you derive your ability scores by rolling, it almost encourages players to be that all-powerful jack of all trades. But back when we were doing it back in the AD&D days, what you rolled is what you got, and it made for a more, in my view, made for a more balanced party. So you may have a warrior that has, the 18 over 76 strength,
Yep.
but they were dumber than a box of rocks.
Mhm.
Whereas you had your wizard that your wizard that had like an 18 in or a 17 in intelligence or wisdom, what have you, that could basically explain, they were the smarts of the group, and they could explain to the warrior, yeah, you can bash in doors, but that's a metal door. So let's try a different tactic. And so, I mean, it just seemed like the characters played better off of each other than modern day games do.
Sure.
Because like I said, it seems to me like 5th edition really encourages everybody to be high scores across the board.
So it's also down to like what the system is. So I'm going to take a rogue trader. That's it. It does not follow the D&D logic.
Right.
That's right off the bat. Like, that's the first thing I have to explain. You are not playing these games.
Right.
Everything that you know about tabletop games based around these, core ones like Cyberpunk, D&D, this does not apply. Like, you need to disregard your rules when you come into this game, because you are playing a macro campaign. You are playing domain level from level 1. Like, right off the bat, you are at a different ball game altogether. But that's the difference between Rogue Trader and that. So that's why I say go point buy, because you can't, if you play, because in Rogue Trader, you can start your character out being illiterate, and you are in charge of an empire. How ridiculous that you can do that.
No, I get, yeah, I get it.
But let's swing over towards D&D. 5th edition, yes. And that's also because they have gone down the route of high power fantasy, and high magic. So it's swung over towards that direction of this is where we wanted to go. Mechanically, since 3rd edition, it's swung away from being your stats are important to your skills are important, which is why 5th edition rules as written, the fighter can actually roll an Arcana check to see if he understands what magic is being flung. And if you go by the rules of, it's not Tasha's, it's Xanathar's Guide to Everything, you do not know what spell the opponent is casting unless you roll and pass an Arcana check. So that's how it's.
Yeah. It almost seems like to me like 5th edition, and I'm not knocking it in any means, but it seems to me that 5th edition wants to present the party as the automatic heroes of the story. Which, I mean, I get. Okay, jump back to 1st edition, 2nd edition days, and it was like these guys could possibly be the heroes of the story, but we can't assume that they are, because 90% of the time a level 1 character is never going to survive to level 3.
Exactly. So
that's what I see as being really the core big difference between the editions.
I do have a counter argument.
Okay.
Since 5th edition, we've also seen a resurgence of other games. Like, I'm going to pick on Shadowdark coming out swinging with $1 million backer. Like, there is a very clear craving for the old school gaming, but presented in a more modernized fashion. So we've got the OSE, we've got the OSR. All of these games have got like an entire like subgenre. I mean, I know like the OSE and the OSR have got people like ourselves where, there's a clear undercurrent, but it's also still attracting in. Like one of the guys that I talked to, he's 25, and he swears by basic fantasy, going, this is such a great game because you are so likely to die, and it's such a brutal game. rules as written, that he thinks that it's amazing. So there is the counters to 5th edition, which is the high level. You are the heroes. You are this. You've got the counters where, what do you mean heroes? You shovel shit for a living. There's there's Dungeon Crawl Classic, where it's like you roll up 4 characters who doesn't even have a level to begin with. You've got Shadow of the Demon Lord, who also uses 5th edition mechanics, but the first game is you don't even have a class. You just have your race.
Right.
You survive 1 session, fantastic. You're now allowed to pick your class. You now have to survive an entire adventure to see if you then make it out and level up. So there are the counters. The difference is 5e and Dungeons and Dragons is dominating because it is now a household item. It's a household name.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand, but and Seraphis and I have had this discussion in the past too. A lot of people, I think, will also use the term D&D to represent, like me. I mean, I'm one of those people that will use that term D&D just to simply represent almost any given role-playing game out there. We even, hey, are we meeting this Friday night to play D&D? Yeah, absolutely, we are. Okay, what game are we going to play? How about Monopoly? I mean, that's just how we refer to it. It's D&D is just, it's game night. It all means the same thing. Or hey, what game are we going to play?
Google. It's becoming the Google. Like Google is no longer a noun; it's a verb. Go and Google it.
Right. It's the same as like, hey, can you bring me some Kleenex? Well, Kleenex is a brand name of tissue.
Yeah.
And it could just as easily be, a couple of squares of toilet paper. But it all means the same thing to us. So, I mean, I get that D&D as the brand, as the official brand, is kind of the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I think there's a lot of subgenres out there that I think a lot of people probably still refer to them as still D&D, like even OSR, Shadow Dark, Mortborg. Stuff like that. Although, I guess if we're specifically going to play Shadow Dark or Mortborg, we'll actually say that. But it's just kind of a
it's a catch-all phrase. It's a catch-all thing. Yeah. It's an umbrella term at this point, which that's again the social popularity of it and the rise of its acknowledgement within the last 10 years. Like, go back to 2015 and watch as the years go by. Like, D&D becomes a lot more prominent for a variety of things. Some I can agree with. Some I might say I didn't like that it happened that way, but it happened. Sorry, I feel like
it's become. Well, I think it's all become popular just to spite Seraphis.
Out there is an entire board that sits there and goes, we need to measure our success. And they bring up a screen of Seraphis sitting there going, I hate this. It's like, stonks go up.
He's not frowning enough. Okay, what other changes can we make to this to make him frown more?
It's the entire meme.
The more successful it'll be.
It's an entire meme of how can we make this more successful and annoy the one Aussie in all of Australia more? And it goes down to the board of we need more diversity. We need less abilities for the fighter. And the last guy going, maybe we should actually focus on making an enjoyable game. It's what? Throw him out of here.
Let's refer to all of it as D&D.
We'll just pay all the influencers to refer to all games as D&D. See? They will never suspect a thing.
Well, damn it, where's my paycheck?
Did you sign up for it? No. You just bought into the cult. There you go.
I did. Yeah.
See, my problem is that not all of us started our role-playing journey on that fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us started with Vampire.
Yeah.
Or One of the World of Darkness.
Hey, and that is a great system.
It is.
Absolutely.
Or Shadowrun.
Love it. Yeah.
I
made the comment, I think it was in Discord. I would still be playing Call of Cthulhu and Vampire or Mage or, Mummy if you ever played that, which was so incredibly stupid. But anyway, I'd still be playing all of that. if there were people in my area that were interested in actually playing it.
Mm.
But there's
I had a player who spent 5 years of his life trying to whittle down my will or my resistance to World of Darkness. Because I literally sat there and went, I'm not playing that game. I am not playing that game. You're not getting me to play that game. But Oscar, there's all these cool things you can do. Now, eventually he whittled me down to playing Vampire. I'm like, okay, this is a fun game. And now he's sitting going, I want to play Mage. I'm like, I'm not letting you play Mage. Why? It's got all these cool things. And I sit there and go, I'm not letting you play Mage because you know the game so well. You're going to do things that will break it. And I am not interested.
Well, I think one of the disappeals to it is that it for the most part takes place in modern times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people like it. The people that I run games for, they want to escape the bullshit that, when you turn on the nightly news, there's something stupid happening somewhere on the planet. Yep. And they, for the most part, want to escape that reality. And it makes it much easier when you're in a realm of where spells can be slung, there are mountains to be climbed, there are dungeons to be delved, there are goblins and orcs and elves and all of that, versus, well, there's vampires, okay, yeah, there's mages, yeah, but you still have the Chrysler Building, you still have the Grand Canyon, you still have these oceans to get to England, and you still have these countries trying to pit war against each other. I mean, it's just too real.
Yes,
counterpoint.
Yeah.
Now D&D has Mexican orcs, and so is it as much of an escape as it used to be, though? Yes, Sax?
That's a damn good question, honestly.
So to bring up, like, at least for my group, why Vampire has been such a good escapism. The games I've run for Vampire has been so focused on the politics of the city that the human world literally fades away. Like, it is the least interesting thing for them because they have to make sure that the task that they were given by the sheriff, that they did it in a way that they didn't break the masquerade, but they still got to do some stupid things.
Right.
And they're like, and there's like, okay, like the problems of the world disappears, and it basically boils down to, like, we are here in this city, and the problems of this city, like the human problems, is not our concerns, because our problems is we haven't made enough money to pay back up to our various clans, and what are we going to do? Because now we're like, the month is coming towards an end, we are going to be a failure.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And then it's just shifting the focus away from it. But again, you need, as a game master, you need to be able to do that in a way that
I think that's a failing on my part, because again, I was the person that had to run all that stuff for Vampire. Mm-hmm. And I think for the most part, that's my failing, because it's difficult for me to separate, like, okay, so for example, when I would play it, I would simply open a map of, and Memphis is where we played. I would open a map of Memphis, Tennessee, and that was our map, And so, I mean, like, going down White Station to the Dairy Queen that's there, or to the Taco Bell that's there, or to the Sears that's there to go shopping or whatever. I mean, it's all right there. So, I mean, it was difficult for me to separate out real world from fantasy when we were playing in the real world.
Yeah.
Now, I could just as easily take that map of Memphis and convert it to fantasy, and White Station, the road, may still be there, but it's now no longer called White Station. It's just simply called, I don't know, White Road. Taco Bell may still physically be in the same location, but it's no longer a Taco Bell. It's just a place where people gather to get food.
Yeah.
Sears may still be there, but now it's a magician shop or a blacksmith shop. And so, I work better with that. It's just harder for me as a DM to use real world and inject, like, real world but fantasy into it.
Yeah.
I was never good at that.
That's fair. And again, I was the same thing. Like for the longest time, I would say I will do my sci-fi and I will do my fantasy. I will not touch Shadowrun because I will not have peanut butter with my chocolate.
Yeah. Now, I will say that when we ran Call of Cthulhu, I did one that was based in Chicago and one that was based in Seattle. And again, we used those real world maps. But I found maps of Chicago from like the 1940s. And the one from Seattle, I think, was like 1970s or something. And that worked really well. So I don't know. Maybe it was just for me, it was vampire. I don't know.
No, but vampires takes place in, if you go modern vampire, like the 1990s, it's still too close to home for us. If you start going into like the 1920s and 40s, you've got that like spatial period of like, you didn't really know what was happening at that time. I mean, aside from like 20s, you've got the prohibition, 40s, you've got the war, but like that's from a historical point of view. And we as individuals, we have got the personal memory gap that forces us to have the separation. Which, that's my explanation.
See, a lot of what happened here, especially with things like Vampire, Shadowrun, Call of Cthulhu, the reason why those worked, I think, were more dominative in Australia is because of our country.
Fair.
You already have, because like, I mean, growing up, you already get that impact of, oh, hey, you always hear about like bears in Europe and America, and like these are normal animals from like, cartoony Bible stories and whatnot, right? And then you just have a look around you. Kangaroos, emus, cassowaries, wombats, koalas with chlamydia.
You still hate them. Smooth-brained creatures that God placed upon this world to get high.
Who are omnivores at best, carnivores at worst, and yet entirely sustain themselves on eucalyptus because it gets them high. Christ.
But what a life.
But like, it's things like that. And when you look at the lore in things like Shadowrun, who purposely have done things like, oh, Australia, we should probably address that, and did, and then we're like, oh yeah, the HMMV HMVV virus, the ghoul virus in Shadowrun. Koalas are a carrier. They don't get infected and turn into things. They carry it because they're immune to it.
Nice.
As are drop bears, which are the awakened version of koalas. The problem is that you're more likely to get infected by drop bears because they're becoming more prevalent in the outback, and thus Australian cities have had to be walled off to protect against the awakened wildlife in the country.
Nice.
So for us, that's just like, oh, this is so much fun. This is so much fun. And then you add in like, oh, we've got different gun laws. You can't just carry guns in Australia. How do you get around? Oh, well, I mean, you could get cybernetics to hide a gun in your arm or something, but what else could we do? Oh, well, did you know that the law says we can still technically carry swords? Well, it did back then. That changed last year, but forget about that.
Yeah.
You could still carry swords.
So you're now all melee-oriented, nice. I mean, when I finally got around to doing Shadowrun, I said, all right, I want to do a community-focused game, because I said, like, we're going to be doing a 4x4 block in Seattle, and the players had to develop what that block consisted of culturally, and what ethnicities made it up. My group just went, it is the Balkans. We've got Serbs, we've got Croats, we've got Albanians, we've got Hungarians. Like, all of this, like, lot is just jammed into this, like, 4x4 block. I went, this is a powder keg. Why are you not killing each other? We need some sort of external enemy. I'm like, cool. The Russians are your external enemy that stops you from massacring each other. But there is very clear divide. So every player then had to pick an ethnicity, and then everyone's like, I'm the non-Slavs who didn't understand, or the people who hadn't read about the Balkans, just went, I'm just going to be a Croat, I'm going to be a Serb. And I said to them, you don't understand that you two hate each other. Oh, do we? Why? I allowed my Polish player to explain the intricacies of blood feuds found within the Balkans. And they were like, how is no... I think one of the American actually went, how come there's never been a genocide in that place? I went, there has. It was like, oh, really? It was like, yes. It was all over the news in the 80s.
And seriously, they wonder why, like, the rest of the world keeps questioning whether they have a good education system over there. Like, I was brought up on that too. Actually, I was alive then when that shit was happening.
Yeah. So they had to play that, and we did an entire game where they were meant to go around it. It didn't go the direction I wanted, and it was a bit weird, but that's all right. But I did get to understand and appreciate what Shadowrun then brought to the table. I probably still would lean more towards like cyberpunk because I like the human focus about it rather than elves, dwarves, and everything else. Or just do Shadowrun and remove all the fantasy aspects. That's a preference.
I mean, you could always do a revival of any of the World of Darkness and just have Wraith injected into it.
Yeah,
because there was a Wraith supplement. I don't remember the name of the supplement, but they had what was it called? The Dark Kingdom of Carta, I think, which was in, if I'm remembering correctly, was based in Australia. But yeah, Wraith the Oblivion, one of the lesser known White Wolf supplements. And then I'm pretty sure that Werewolf had, they had like Rage Across Appalachia, but I'm pretty sure they also had Rage Across Australia for Werewolf. Man, that's making me access parts of my brain from the 90s. I thought that was all shut down. I don't think any of those were in Australia, but there were only 13 of those across the United States. And I never understood that game at all. Like, how are you going to role play something when there's only 13 in existence? 12 or 13, something like that.
See,
I was just going to say, it's just one of those things, with the World of Darkness. They have a whole bunch of ideas. I have a player that is badgering me to play all the different ones, and I simply sit and go, no. Yeah. I don't have the interest. I turn around and go, I want to play the Hunter game. I want to run that. Yeah. And I have the same player who sits there and badgers me, turns around and goes, no, I'm not playing that.
See, okay, so I'd be a bit more into playing Hunter because we watched, I mean, I guess during actually this is all pre-pandemic, but we got into one year just binging the entire series of Supernatural. And to me, that's what I just kept having flashbacks of Hunter, damn, that's exactly what Hunter was, is you assume this role and you go hunt the vampires, you go hunt the mummies, you go hunt the bad stuff. I don't know. Yeah. I think that would be fun. Then I later found out that they actually did have a Supernatural role-playing game, and good luck finding a copy of that though.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Sterifus?
Just that the vampire games, which I've been told secondhand by someone who used to be in them back in the 90s, from the 3.5 group, he was saying how summers were really fun because they played to the nature of Australia, and like the summers here are very, very short when there's no sun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it would be.
Yeah. I get that.
And like Australia doesn't have like that same kind of underground, like, sewage tunnels or
Right.
underground metro line or anything like that in pretty much every city in the country. So you're also having to try and navigate that. And that was
Right.
really interesting too. But yeah, I was just looking up the Wraith the Oblivion thing that you mentioned.
Wraith. I mean, just another. Oh man. I mean, I guess it could be kind of fun, but you're basically. I mean, if you're playing it, you're basically playing ghosts. You know. I mean, like okay.
I don't think I ever heard of this one.
What?
Wraith.
Oh. It was one of the lesser known. I mean, I don't remember like if it came out before Mummy or after Mummy. But yeah.
Oh.
Now I've got to look it up. So you had Vampire the Masquerade 91, The World of Darkness, which accompanied everything in 92, Werewolf in 92, Mage in 93, Wraith the Oblivion came out in 94, Changeling the Dreaming in 95, and then you started having a couple of other. Hunter the Reckoning came out in 99, Mummy came out in 2001. Demon the Fallen, I've never heard of that one. That came out in 2002. And then you started having kind of the second edition of Werewolf, Mage, Changeling, Hunter, etc. Demon the Fallen, I've never heard of that one. What's that about?
I think I'd only ever heard of the Vampire, Werewolf, Hunter, Mage. I think I'd heard of Mummy, or at least that there was an undead supplement.
Yeah, Mummy was a weird one. It was so. If I remember correctly, Mummy started out like lore-wise, there were like 40-something mummies out there. They all went to battle, and a good majority of them were destroyed, leaving 13 left. The players didn't play as one of those 13, but instead played as a. Of course, I mean, in it, you could play as a vampire or mage, whatever or a werewolf, whatever you wanted. But if you wanted to play as an actual mummy, you were a lesser mummy that was created by the remains of either one of the 13 or one of the initial 42. But you didn't have anywhere close to the same type of powers or abilities. Yeah, so Demon the Fallen player characters are demons or fallen angels who are cast out of heaven after siding with Lucifer in a 1,000-year war with God.
Mm.
Okay.
I feel like that kind of steps on the toes a little bit of the vampire lore.
Kind of.
Because, I mean, vampires already have that legacy of Cain.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
Which I think that was, honestly, I think that was one of the things that really turned me on to in liking the concept of vampire, was that it kind of took that biblical story and just like, yeah, so Cain killed Abel and God cursed Cain to walk the earth, making Cain the very first vampire who could never die.
Mm.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Welcome back, Sex.
Thank you.
But yeah, that, because you know the story of the werewolves is different from that of the vampires, and mages is again different to that.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, describing demons like that, it kind of, yeah, it's kind of stepping on the toes of the vampire lore.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that we would ever have the underworld movies if we had not had werewolf or vampire? I mean, you know, the White Wolf games?
Going by what Raz said, probably not.
I'm not familiar with what was said there.
You know the creator of the underworld movies?
Mhm.
Or the story, the dude who plays the big black werewolf dude?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. He's had interviews and stuff and talked about his inspirations, and one that keeps coming up is White Wolf.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. So yeah, so it was 100% inspired from, or part of the inspiration. Okay.
Yeah. Along with comic books and stuff. So
Yeah. No, I just, when I sat down and watched the first one, I'm like, holy crap, this is like ripped right from the pages of Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf. I mean, right from the pages of. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Oh no, I love it in that way.
And Robert says there's also Promethean for World of Darkness. Yeah, that was another one that came out like 2011 or something, 2009. I don't know. Later, I never got that one.
I just played my mage like he knew Fey magic and fucked around with everyone, changing my aura to make it seem like I was a vampire, so I could walk in the vampire circles. That was a lot of fun.
I remember using my mage mainly to change the lights so that we could always go through them. Change them from red to green.
I got my mage pretty high up in the little local game that me and my mates in high school played, and yeah, it was pretty funny because like most of them were playing vampires, and there was one hunter and me as a mage, and I was disguising myself the whole time as a vampire through that, and the hunter had really good disguise basically, and would constantly be wearing like this movie level makeup to look like a vampire, passing himself off, and just it was ridiculously fun. And like we're just keeping these secrets from everyone else because, you know, it's kind of what you do, and we all kind of went into it as we're playing a vampire game. DM.
A lot of notes being passed under the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of
which I will say this: in this day and age, It used to be that we had a no cell phone rule at the table, right? Now, instead of writing it down on a little sheet of paper, ripping it out, folding it up, and handing it to them, okay, now it's just a quick text.
Yeah. Listen, I'm all for incorporating technology into the games. I mean, I run most of my games online. I make use of music, ambience, maps, dynamic lighting. These are aspects. I mean, one of my games, I would actually do it so that normally when you make dynamic lighting in Roll20, like you usually put like, everyone can see everything, or they can see what everyone else sees. I went through and systematically did it so that only you can see what you can see, which meant that one person would suddenly go, "Oh my God, what's that?" And they would immediately go, "I don't see anything." Like, that's right, you don't see anything.
Nice.
And that would create like a level of like horror for them, because they're like, now we really have to we have to talk now. Like, it forced a level of communication, which was great. And my real life group, they come in with like tablets, laptops, and the likes, because that's how they keep their characters, and that's how they keep access to all of the books, and it's easy and convenient. I don't subscribe to this heavy-handed method of like, you shouldn't be allowed to have any form of technology. There should only be pen and paper and so on. Like, boom, that may be how you play it. I have moved on along with time. I'm not stuck in a time loop, so I'm okay with this. I encourage people to do what makes the game easier for them. And if I am stuck in a rule and I go, "Oh, does anyone know what this rule is?" They can quickly go, "Tap, tap, tap, here's what it says." And I'll go, "Right, my interpretation is this. Let's move on."
Yeah.
And
And that's like especially good for games. Like, again, I was playing in that 3.5 game. You can't get most of that stuff anymore except as PDFs.
Yeah.
And especially playing not only a quote-unquote niche class like the Artificer, but also being from Eberron specifically, minimizing down only what's part of the Eberron source books. So I've only got that, and I need to have that referenceable all the time. I can't just keep asking the DM I need that off the top shelf quickly because I need double check something else. Oh, I'll probably need that book as well. It's just easier to flip my tablet open and go.
I remember owning 17 3.5 books. 17 to bring to a game. And I would then have to make the rule: you are not allowed to use books that I do not own. That drove some players up the wall, because they're like, "I'm giving you the PDF." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't have the physical book." "Well, go and buy it. It's $200. I'm not spending that. I will need to play this." I'm like, no.
Well, see, the 3.5 DM had all the 3.5 books and third edition books and the D20 series books.
Yeah.
So modern sci-fi. Yeah. So like nothing was technically ever off the table.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
But you also played at that location, right? I mean, that all of those books didn't travel with the DM to a and that's I agree with you. I mean, listen, I'm a physical book person. I've been very vocal about that, but that is the advantage of having everything on PDF, is the portability of it. I get that. What I'm not a fan of, and I'm very animate about this, and I don't think anybody out there will ever be able to change my mind, is how D&D Beyond presents their books. You are renting that service. And this is a complete total tangent from everything we've been talking about. I get that, but I'm fired up now. I dislike D&D Beyond and how they present it, because you are renting that material. Case in point, last week we had a very bad snowstorm sweep through here. You can still see how bright it is out here because the sunlight is reflecting off of all of the snow that's still out here. But we lost power on one of those days. And what we did was I just pulled some books out from here and we played by candlelight, using the stuff that's in. I mean, most of it was all in our imagination anyway, but had we depended on getting access to the internet to play, we wouldn't have been able to. No power, no access, can't get them. Just doesn't exist. And, heaven forbid, WotC makes a deal and sells the whatever to a new company. What's going to happen to all that stuff that you purchased if it was only digital? They don't provide it to you in any kind of downloadable format. So you are essentially renting it. I don't like it.
Just out of curiosity, do you have solar?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. Now we do have
a...
Huh?
Is that a thing in America?
It is, yeah. It's a big thing. It's a bit too cost prohibitive for us. But we do have generators. Of course, we didn't have any gasoline to put in said generator that day. So, I mean,
yeah, you have to be prepared for things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we should have. We just didn't. It just didn't cross our minds to prepare. Because, I mean, hell, we were at work all week,
This is a bit of a side tangent, and I realize that. You said it was cost prohibitive. How, what kind of cost is that?
For us to get solar installed on our rooftop, I think it's something like, when I looked into it, this was a couple of years back, it was going to be something like $18,000 US total. Yeah. Because you've got to get the panels put up, then you have to have the battery pack that charges. You have to pay somebody to do it, because, I mean, could I do it? Maybe. Am I physically able to get up on the roof? Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily have the technical know-how to run all the wiring and everything. But now once you're dealing with electrical system, you've got to have a licensed electrician come out and verify everything before you can flip the switch. And it's just a whole bunch of stupid bullshit.
What?
But yeah.
Do you remember what kind of system it was?
What I looked at, as best I remember, it was going to be 4-foot by 8-foot panels that were made up of 2-foot by 3-foot panels. No, 2-foot by 2-foot panels. That's what it was. It was a 4-foot by 8-foot block. So like a block. And then 2-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot, 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 2-foot. And then there were going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 of those of the 4-foot by 8-foot channel. So 8-foot by 16-foot on either side, on either slope of the roof. So on this side and then this side. From there, it hooked into the charge panel, and then from the charge panel or the breaker box, whatever, and from there it went to the batteries, or maybe it went from that. From the panels to the battery,
the inverter, and then to the batteries and the main systems. Yeah. How much would that system have provided you with? 8, 10?
It would have provided to us with enough electricity. I mean, it would have run the entire house. Yeah, I mean, it would have sustained the entire house. But I'll also say that, like I said, this was like 5 years, maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And we looked at it based on what our electrical bill was at that point. And we determined that it would take about 30 years to pay for itself. And it was like a whole bunch of cost up front for it to pay for itself in 30 years. And then the question was, well, are we still going to be living where we're living in 30 years? Or are we going to have a new house built? Because so we've got, our property extends a good ways back that way. And we're on the front part of it. And what our plan is to build a slightly larger house back behind us, and then just tear this one down. So that was the other element to it was with such a large upfront cost, it wasn't worth it for us. It was too cost prohibitive for something that was going to be temporary anyway.
No,
Of
I
course,
hear you.
here we are 10 years later and we still haven't started breaking ground on, this other house that we're wanting to build. So, because again, cost.
Yeah.
No, I
So
hear you.
subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, like, on that topic, because I know in the UK they're doing a whole hoorah about electrical cars, and now they're backtracking on that, and they're saying, "Oh, you own an electrical car, well, we're still going to tax you now." And it's like, okay, so the incentive of switching over
Right.
is
Right.
now being retracted,
Right.
and we're still doing that. So, and even then, going back to solar panels, it's the question basically is, are you going to be there for life? And if so, are you getting the house while you're young? Which at this current stage,
Right.
in the UK, most people are buying their houses at around 30 to 35. And you're actually realizing that the people who are buying the houses are the people who are still like a generation older than me.
Right. Right.
So it's not even like the millennials that are buying.
Right.
It's like I'm one of the rare, but like statistically, I'm in the lower aspect because I'm a millennial who now owns a house.
Well, and it used to be that you could get tax breaks by converting over to solar. And there were also like government subsidies that you could get that would pay for a portion of that.
Yeah.
But I think over the years, that's all kind of fallen off, and it's now just on the
It's
brunt
all-
of your shoulders to pay and fund for all of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, here in Australia, for us to upgrade to a system that would completely negate our power bill would be like $6,000 with a battery wall.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Then again, like, we are currently advancing as like one of the world's leading green energy researchers and developers. So
Yeah. Well, it's like it's one of those things where, you're supposed to eat healthy, but you go in to buy healthy food and it costs 3 times the amount than it does to buy the shit food.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think the incentive there is this conspiracy theory in me is that they want you to buy the shit food to keep you sick so that you go to the doctor, so you're dependent on paying medical so that fat cats can continue to get fatter or richer.
sort of.
And I think the solar is kind of the same way. The option's out there, but it's so cost prohibitive because power companies want to continue to make money.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's the only incentive I have for the hybrid that I have because it uses electric. When I get to certain parts in my journey, I go, right, use electric, minimize my usage of petrol or gasoline, and then go on from there. But like, I didn't see that the infrastructure for full electric was really there, and the way that the charging system was going, I was like, I'd rather stick with petrol because there's like, it only really seems to go high when we've got like region affecting crises.
Right.
But going back to, moving away from the staying slightly on topic, but moving away from the conspiracy and back to tabletop games, I do agree on your stance on D&D Beyond, because I do subscribe to the idea that you should be able to own the product that you buy.
Yeah.
I do like the aspect of drive-through that I buy a PDF, all updates are immediately updated for me, and I can download that, and I can then have it stored in a hard drive so that I've always got it available. And in the event of if I have to use books, I have physical books. Like, again, I have all the second edition books that I want.
Or if you want to print those PDFs out, you can print them out.
Yeah. I mean, the next D&D game I'm going to be having, I am going to be using monsters from a third-party book that I'm going to be printing out from work.
Yeah.
And I'm then going to be bringing them in and going like, okay, well, you're now facing these things, and I'll pull them out, and then I've got all the stats that I need right there.
Yeah.
And that'll be great. But I want to own it. And it's...
Now, I will say that when I am running a game, it is nice to be able to pull up the artwork for the monster or whatever that they're facing on a screen And instead of, holding the book up for about 4 seconds, to show, okay, this is what the vampire looks like, I can just leave it up on screen and they can look at it for however long they want. That is one advantage. I will say that. I do like that. But
yeah, no, absolutely.
But for the most part, I like physical stuff.
Yeah, I understand certain aspects of D&D Beyond. If you're going to buy into it, and you then go, right, I'm going to link my D&D Beyond to my Roll20. Again, at that point, you've sort of bought into doing the game online. You can make your character there. You can link it into the game that the DM is hosting. You've got all the things being pulled in. You can click and have things immediately be made available. It has that seamlessness to it.
Right.
But you don't own it. You are renting it. And that's been one of the things that I've been very picky about. For Roll20, for example, every time I buy map assets, I specifically buy it from people that allow me to download those assets. Because then I can store them. Because right now, my group is moving away from Roll20. My core group, my big Sunday group, is moving away from Roll20. They're fed up with it. So they're wanting to move to Foundry. Fine. I need to take all of my purchases from Roll20 and make them available to Foundry, which I believe I can do. But it's the question of, like, how do I go about it?
Right.
And if there are other platforms or virtual tabletops that will allow me to then download a bunch of things, upload it into, like, map tools is what I'm referring to. It has the same powerful capabilities of Roll20. It's free. The catch of map tools, I mean, aside from that, it looks ugly as sin, but it's super powerful. The catch is that when you host, you are going to be exposing your IP, and people who knows how to exploit these things can go in and do some really dangerous things on you.
I mean, talk about conspiracy theories, but I mean, there's truth, but the reason is the conspiracy is there because there's truth in that, and it is scary. I don't want my IP just blasted out there. I get that.
And again, when I've used map tools, it's been for close groups that I know. I've not done, I'm going to host for a bunch of randos. Absolutely not. Wouldn't trust anyone. Given the amount of doxing we've seen over the last 5-10 years, no, thank you. And hell, going back to, like, owning things, we're seeing so many, like, other industries moving away from providing products and saying we're now providing a service, or we're providing a rent, a whatever.
Subscription model.
Exactly. Like, Netflix was the leader in the subscription. We've now seen, like, HBO, Disney.
Well, hell, even Elon Musk just started a new one with the Tesla. If you want autopilot, that's now a fucking monthly subscription fee, where it used to be standard in the car. Not that I'm ever going to own a Tesla. I'm just saying.
No.
You're seeing a lot of industry shift over to subscription models.
I believe there is, like, there's an economical or financial term for it, but the incentive is the company's trying to claim more of your disposable cash before you have the ability to spend it.
Yes.
And that's why, like, at the moment,
look at the medical field.
Oh God, no.
I mean, they've been doing that for years upon years. Oh, you need medicine? You need a subscription service. Come in every month, give us your money, and we'll give you some pills in exchange. It's a subscription service.
It's disgusting, and it's the same way with, like, insurance. That's the exact same thing, except that they turn around and go, well, you're legally, at least in the UK, you are legally obligated to be insured.
Oh, it's the same here. Same here in America.
So they turn around and go, oh, we would like to keep you, but we're going to increase the prices. I'm like, what? No.
Why? I haven't had any claims.
Exactly. So, like, if anything, you should be doing this. Like, no, we're not.
Well, we have to increase your side, your payments per month, because there was a hurricane that went through Louisiana and raised all the rates there. So we have to offset that by raising your rates, even though you don't live anywhere remotely close to it.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
I have shifted insurance company every year because this is what they do. So I go to the competitor and go, here's what I'm being charged here. Do you offer anything better? Absolutely great. I'm going to be with you for a year. Then you're going to try and hook me in. Then I'm going to leave you and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not incentivized to stay. Loyalty isn't a thing. It's the same with banks. Banks are not banks anymore. They are actually, I am getting a lot of emails at the moment from my bank where they're going, you shouldn't have cash in your bank. You should be investing it. And I'm like, you can fuck off.
Yeah.
You can shove these letters right up. That's what I've actually gone in and I've changed it so that they cannot email me anymore unless it is a immediate problem that needs to be solved, like fraud or the like. All of their offers can be sent by their internal communications, and I don't read them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't. Go on.
Do you guys have credit unions?
Yes, we do.
I'm not familiar with credit. I've only had a debit card.
Okay.
I've only owned a debit card. I've never owned a credit card.
It's not. It's got nothing to do with credit in that regard.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Okay. You might want to look into a credit union if you've got access to that in the UK.
Right.
Yeah. They're better than a bank.
Right.
Yep.
I'll see what there is. But yeah, like as it stands, like banks have moved away from that. Like I just wanted a place to keep my money safe. I know that they're using it for their own investments, and I get interest because it's a part of the dividends that they earn. Fine, I never really cared. But now it's moved towards we're not just a bank. We're a place where you can secure your future. I'm like, I don't want your gobbledygook investment strategies. I want you to just hold my money that I set aside.
See,
And if you can't,
I had shares in one of the biggest, or two of the biggest banks in Australia. And
they lost them.
no, I sold them off after the Royal Commission was announced looking into why are they funding terrorist organizations.
Oh, jeez.
Excuse me, what?
The precursor to ISIS, they were funding with investment money. And I was like, I'm going to sell off the $12,000 worth of shares I've got in both of you guys.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it was massive over here. This was back in 2000, sometime between 2008 and 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, they were basically funding the people, the terrorists in the Middle East. Yeah, you know, killing our people.
We get emails quite often saying, hey, you need to convert your extra cash into gold. Gold is a wise investment. In case the grid goes down, you'll have that physically available.
No.
And I'm like, what kind of sense does that make? If the grid goes down, what am I going to do with the gold? Take it to Walmart to buy milk? How does that work? I just don't get it.
People don't understand what actually happens when the grid goes down.
Right. Right.
Gold becomes a currency once the chaos has stopped ravaging.
No, it's shotgun shells. That's the currency at that point.
Yeah, like the immediate point is
expose that.
Yeah.
Canned food and shotgun shells.
Like it's
I don't know. Everybody's out to try to siphon money from everybody, you know?
Yeah. No, definitely. That's crazy. My point is the point that I moved away from was D&D Beyond is just another one of these subscriptions.
Yeah.
As is Roll20, I would say they have improved over the years because they've actually gotten competitors that are kicking their ass up and down the street.
Well, that's why Project Sigil shut down. because they realized that they just simply couldn't compete with other VTTs.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
And I talk about conspiracy, okay? I fully believe that we will see either this year or early next year, WotC is going to maneuver in to try to buy out one of the larger VTTs.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they've
Just
already
like
got
they
a
did
huge.
with D&D Beyond.
They've already got a larger investment into Roll20 via D&D Beyond with everything that's integrated.
Right,
I wouldn't be
right.
surprised if they move in and then acquire that, and the Roll20 becomes a part of like the D&D wider conglomerates. That again, it makes sense from a financial point of view, and the Microsoft or whichever like CEO that took over Hasbro or what's he
Yeah.
have also come out and said that they need to move towards a video game mentality of buying add-ons and buying all of these things, which is we are seeing them doing this. They're just not overt about what they're doing.
Right.
With the ability to buy monster packs, monster books, the books and rules you can now buy at Roll20, and it's now all integrated. So that when you say I want to play D&D, it imports in all of these other things, or you can select that they should be porting it in. That's what they're going up, or what they're going towards, from my perspective. Other places like again, I'm moving over towards Foundry, which has been a one-time purchase, so it's not been that bad. And my plan is that I am the option of buying a constantly live server is there as a subscription, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to say, if you, the players, need me to have this server to be available, I will do it between this day and this day. If you missed it the cutoff time, I cannot help you because I can't have my computer be run 24 hours just because you can't schedule your own time.
I don't know. My computer stays on until the power goes out.
Mine too.
I try not to do it, but that's purely because I am concerned. My computer's already old. It's like from 2015,
Yeah, I get
16.
that. I get that.
Yeah, so I want the motherboard to go on like another 10 years before I do anything major. I've already messed up the... Go on.
I'm just going to say I need to get going.
Yeah, I know it's late for Seraphis. He's hearing the siren call of his bed.
Yes, I am. We've already been going for 2 hours, which means it's getting close to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So, where can they find you, Game Masters? Or H?
I don't know. Out there somewhere.
You won't. You won't find me.
Sucks.
You're not going to find much on my Saxius channel. You will find me under the Accounting DM. I've got some old videos where I've been going into the aspects of logistics within sci-fi games, and I've done an entire series regarding having factions within your fantasy games and how you can make use of that. As I said, I'm working on a long-term project, which will be a very long video addressing Rogue Trader, the tabletop role-playing game, in a very in-depth perspective, and why I think it is one of the better sandbox games that you can own and buy.
Yep.
That will come out whenever it does. I've got other things that is keeping me from working on that full time.
I get that.
And you can find me here.
And I mean, if you've already made it this far into the YouTube sphere and you found Seraphis,
you've hit the bottom of the barrel, let's face it.
No, not the bottom of the barrel. You've gone through the barrel. You're into the underground. You're in the Underdark. And here he is, the smiling Aussie going, "Welcome. You cannot leave now. My accountant will ensure that you're financially indebted to me."
Oh, jeez. Well, on that note, I will say I spent $700 on Lego, and I have no regrets. So until next time.